Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the next session, I want to introduce you to the Macedonia 2025 online platform Connect to MK. The platform connects Macedonian businesses with experts from the diaspora, providing opportunities for growth and knowledge sharing. Whether you're an expert or a company, I'll encourage you to sign up and explore the possibilities. So far, we have 87 users and 25 matches done on Macedonia on Connect to MK. The platform recently underwent an upgrade to ensure matches are successful. Here, I would like to thank Intertech, whose CEO, Dimitar Siljanovski, is an AC member and a Kellogg alumnus. Thank you so much, Dimitar.
And then to introduce the next session, I'm particularly excited about this one for a couple of reasons. One, I work for a family business for a person some of you guys know here in the front row. So interested to hear some perspectives on this in a lot of ways. Excited for this 30-minute conversation. Again, make sure we're using the Slido app to ask questions to the team, and it's going to be a really great conversation. So I'm excited to introduce the CEO of Franck, one of the largest coffee roasters and distributors in Southeast Europe, one of our board members to host the session. So welcome, gentlemen.
Okay, I guess we're ready. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your attention. Obviously, it's a privilege to be part of Macedonia 25 organization and the board of directors. And before we start, I would like to huge thank you to Nikica, Galena, and the rest of the MK 2025. For making this happen. Without you, this wouldn't be here. For the impeccable organization and the ability to somehow each year to exceed the expectations while the bar is, being higher and higher. So, great job. Well, I think the summit has been a blast so far, and rest assured we have no intention of slowing it down. We have another great session coming up and a great speaker here.
Thank you.
We have Mr. Ivan Artuković, the CEO of Franck AD. Ivan will share his experiences from Franck on how to build a global family business. Just a few words on Ivan and Franck. Franck is, I think everybody knows Franck here. You drank the coffee, so it's a regional powerhouse, one of the biggest food companies out of Croatia, with a very long tradition, I would say. And when we speak about tradition, if one goes to Zagreb, Vodovodna Street, they will find Franck there, and it's been there since 1892. So, impressive. And as for Ivan, he's been running the business for the last 6 years, when he took over the reign from his father at a young age of 29. So, impressive career for Ivan, and I think that since taking over, he also did some great things for the company, making sure to consolidate the leading position in the existing markets and also to extend the product portfolio and enter new markets at the same time. So, Ivan, great to have you here in Macedonia. Thank you for finding the time to support the summit. I have a lot of questions. I'm sure, as Kirk mentioned, he will have a few. and the audience as well will have other questions. But before we dive into that, I guess, a short introduction from yourself about your role, about Franck, so the audience can get some context on our discussion. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Metodija, for introduction. Also, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful summit. In Croatia, we have lots of summits, lots of talks, but not such summits. So maybe in years to come, we can make one in Croatia as well, Macedonian summit in Croatia, if you want. on the beautiful Croatian coast.
Location-wise.
Also, thank you for organizer. Thank you to my team, to our distributor is here as well, Eurotabac team. And I'm proud that I'm here.
So tell us more about your beginnings. I would say, were you destined to be the CEO of Franck? How did it look on your side?
No, I was not under pressure of my family. I started when I finished university, first in controlling finance department, and then I jumped in the board 2012. I was responsible for purchasing and investments at that time, especially strategic purchasing, coffee purchasing, and such. Later on, I took over position for supply chain, so for production, logistic, part of distribution and purchasing as well. And 2017 was quite a challenging year for the company, and also it was a generational change. And this year there was a big crisis in the region. You know, that agro crisis and all of the mess around that. And I agreed with the family that I will take over the position of the company. My father was very fair. He stepped out to supervisory board, and we have good contact and good relationship, good business relationship. And this is maybe one of the key points why this generational transition was, in my opinion, done in the right way.
How did this, being in all these roles, you mentioned controlling, supply chain, roasting coffee, buying, how did it help you to be a more successful CEO? How do you see that?
Just before I answer your question, I need to mention that I started in company when I was in high school, but this was just as a visitor. So for me, the biggest change was you need to lead people, which you know for decade before, and it's different ball game. So you need to be sometimes tough, follow the goals, but also as a family member, you need to be nice. You need to be open. You need to, every time you need to welcome someone who is walking around our facility in Vodovodna. So there are two Ivans, one very pushy and one family member, nice guy. So you need to live with that 24 hours a day.
And what was your primary motivation to, let's say, join the business? I'm sure, as you said, you were not under pressure. You had other opportunities for sure, but you decided to stick with Franck.
No, for me, I chose to study economics to become entrepreneur, and this was my choice since I was a kid. So there was not a big change in the head, and I think I did a good decision.
Obviously.
But also family gave me opportunity to learn from different people, from different entrepreneurs. I listened a lot, I traveled a lot, I saw some similar companies, some are our competitors as well, bigger companies that we are, and this was a big help for me.
And did the thought of building a family legacy play a role in your decision to stay with the company?
Yeah, this is like sport, adrenaline every day, every week, every month, every year, different story. And this is pushing me and my team forward.
And I will touch on what you said earlier, being the nice guy and the family guy and being stern. How do you balance the dynamics of being part of this family-owned business and making the decisions that are best for the company?
We have a corporate structure. We have professionals in the team. All of my team are professional people with experience either in Franck for longer time, or as people who came from other businesses or companies. So in my team, I don't have any family member in the board or in B-1 position. And we have pure business discussion. So there is no family layer in day-to-day operation, but there is family layer in supervising the company, in strategic decisions which are done through other bodies of the company, supervisory board, and also family council and other bodies of the company.
I see that with you taking over the company, obviously you made some organizational changes. So I'm interested when it comes to the evolution of these organizational changes, depending on who's leading the company. I know that it was your grandfather, then your father, and now yourself. How did this evolution happen? And what were the key factors for this evolution? Was it external factors, consultants coming and telling you, okay, you need to do this? Was it internal? Was it, I would say, your character or the character of your predecessors?
I think push from the market, consumers are changing. This was the key driver, and also I wanted to change the culture of the company. So my father wanted to change, but maybe it was different. People were involved, different atmosphere, different time. So, and for him it was maybe a bit more challenging, because my grandfather was very strong character, strong man, and also at that time we had another shareholders in the company. This was different ball game. Today we are much concentrating about what is happening on the market, how market is changing, and let's change Franck as well. So this is the...
And how successful would you consider to be when it comes to the culture change?
You cannot change culture in one mandate of the board. It's like driving a big boat. You steer, but the boat is going in front. So you need to have really open hands, and you need to have, in my opinion, 3-4 years to change the company. Also, what I did when I stepped in, we implement SAP system. This was a big transformation of the company, and also accelerate the change in the company. We did big operational restructuring. Basically, we changed half of employees in 2 years, and still we are working on the culture. It will never finish, because new people are coming. Also, our employees are improving. Education is a big topic we heard today. So it's like nails. You need to cut your nails every 7 days or so.
I know that you mentioned that both your father and your grandfather are great role models for you. So what would you say are the key, characteristics or the key values they put ahead for you that you are using in your everyday and while building this global family business?
To be honest, to be open, to discuss openly with the people, not to judge employees, and to follow our plans, goals. This is important. This was the most important what I learned. And also about the business, to keep the quality of the products, to keep the quality of the people, and because Franck was raised on the quality, this was our strength, and still today is a competitive advantage compared to other competitors, and we never played with the quality, no matter how the results are, but the quality should be preserved. My grandfather and father, of course, they are different people. Like I said, grandfather was he's still alive today. Today he has 89 years. He was a strict man, very strict, all type of businessman. But my father, he was totally vice versa. Maybe too open with the people, too nice guy. I'm somewhere between.
You took the best from both, yeah? Speaking of competitive advantage that you mentioned, do you think that the competitive advantage has created trouble for you with family relations being part of the organizational culture? Or it's a bit more complicated than that?
Family relations are always complicated. I have also 2 daughters, and they play a game every day with me. But family relations should be fixed if there is a problem inside the family. Executives, managers, and people working in the company should not feel the problem. Of course, people talk, they watch, but all the problems should be fixed inside the family if there is a problems. For me, it's easier because I have agreement with family that I'm only point between the family and the company. So for me, it's easier than in some other businesses. But I know families in coffee business, I know some families in European market, they fight like hell. And some companies disappeared for the market or they sold the business. So the problems within the families can interfere the business very, very much. Especially our company, it's a mid-sized company, European, Croatian. In Croatia, we are considered as a big company.
Yeah, 90 million revenue.
110 million. And you cannot run company without the structure. So really we worked on the processes for many years. And I will run company, but I will not run company till my lifetime. So company should be prepared for the next level.
Yeah, maybe I think it will be very interesting for the audience. You mentioned that you have the family council. Maybe you can elaborate on that. So as a kind of a best practice, so people can see what are the options for growing family business in an evolving environment and changing structure depending on the growth and size.
Yeah, family councils are common in Europe and in States. We put all our equity in one company. It's same structure, it's not so strict. We gather once a quarter or once a month. We talk about the business, about the performance, about the plans, if there is some problem, if there is some opportunities, hiring or stuff like that, we talk there. The last important topic was we decide to strengthen our board. Our CFO will go in the board and we will employ another COO who will be my colleague, my right hand. And these are topics where we can discuss there.
So mostly the discussions are on strategic things.
Topics.
You don't go into operational.
No, day-to-day topics are not part of that. I'm also running that company, that family, let's say, boutique. So I prepare the meeting, the topics, and we discuss.
Okay, that has been working.
Then we have follow-up from the last meeting. It's like business. It's like running the business. Similar like running the business. So you run the family, and the family relations, and all of the family-related topics.
You mentioned that you hired recently independent CFO. Now you're in the process of hiring the COO.
Yes, I hired when I jumped in the position 2017, and we are together for 6 years now. And now we are hiring COO position. The colleague will start in a week. He has experience of 20 years in FMCG, and we are preparing company for the next phase. Next phase would be strengthening our key brand, which is Franck, and also to expand on the key markets. Our key markets besides Croatia, Bosnia, markets Slovenia, but also markets within ex-Yugoslavian territory. And this process of employing such person was not easy. It took me 9 months. And you know, like wife, you never know. And maybe on the next summit I can tell you.
Hopefully you'll be able to, yeah, that everything worked out fine. So by taking the company into, let's say, to the next level, by employing independent people to run the business and working with you, you are slowly but surely moving away from the family business concept, I would say, and going into more of a corporation.
We are now, no, we want to be, we are semi-corporation. So, like I said, I want to be entrepreneur. We don't want to copycat some company and then we want, for example, to be small Nestle of the world or such. We want to be Franck, and Franck is here for 130 years, and we want to be for next 130 years on the market. So, yes, processes, all the standards of the multinational, we want to have that, but under our umbrella, under Franck umbrella.
I have the first one is a really good question I see here. And yeah, Ivan, since many of us are entrepreneurs and parents at the same time, can you tell us if you feel pressure to reach and overcome your father's success?
It's ego question at the end.
It is.
Every son wants to be stronger, more clever than the father, and this is normal. We talked about patriarchic environment here on the Balkans, and we have this chip in the head, and it's normal. It's in sport, it's in music, in everywhere. So yes, why not? Like my daughter wants to be, now she's 5, better than me. It's normal.
I agree. I fully agree.
It's evolution which is pushing us forward.
Yeah. We have another question here. Could you speak to the approach Franck has taken to protecting the ethos of the company over the years? How do you train the next generation of leaders?
We have youth employment in company, youth employment program. Now some our colleagues from youth employment are now managers, are now running sales teams and other teams, and this was quite nice. We did it online. We had 500 people were enrolled on the first one. So every year we are doing youth employment. We are hiring external people plus promoting people who are in the company. Can you read your question, the next part of the question, sorry?
How do you train the next generation of leaders? You mentioned that. The first question was, could you speak to the approach Franck has taken to protecting the ethos of the company over the years? It's from Daniel Cunningham.
Clever people were running the company and the teams, and I need to be thankful to people who ran the company before me, and this is the answer. We had honest people running the company, and we educate the next generations and
solid infrastructure.
Yes.
And Jole here has also a very interesting question. How do you as a family business cope with the large corporations as Starbucks, Lavazza, and the rising competition, I guess?
I'm very close friend with Giuseppe Lavazza. We are in one it's not union, but it's we are promoting coffee responsibility and
Association or something.
association together with some big or large companies. We are friends, of course. We don't talk about the competition prices, stuff like that there. And this is the platform where you can benchmark yourself with the big companies. The competition is tough. Category, it's very tough environment. Coffee is emotion, but coffee is also a commodity product. And we fight with them every day. Every day Barcelona Real, and every day new game. So fight, and
You win some, you lose some. Yeah.
yes, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So.
And another question from the audience. What is the impact of the climate change on the business? What is the solution to uncertainty, to unexpected climate changes on crops? I think this is very relevant, having in mind.
Yes, it's
I
big.
read an interview that you had a few years ago that had huge impacts in one season.
It's huge impact. We are paying it at the moment because Robusta price is on the highest level compared to 12 years. Historical level also, Arabica prices are very high. Some part of that game is speculation, but also climate change is playing a big role. We are part of Coffee and Climate Initiative together with some European and global coffee players. And on that initiative, we talk about the climate change and which agricultural practices can be implemented on the fields to improve the yield of the coffee and the quality of the coffee. What is happening now that Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia are increasing market share every year in global coffee consumption. Also, coffee is cultivated in 30, 40 different countries as well, but the big countries are increasing market share because they have better infrastructure, better mechanization, fertilizers, and other water, very important. And they're increasing, and the other are going down. This is not good for the business, because coffee, like some other, like wine, like olive oil, we like to blend, we like different flavors. And this will not stop with the climate, and this will affect the business. And I don't see the declining of prices of commodity in this year or the next year.
And what's next for Franck? You mentioned that you would like to consolidate your XU approach, but what about some bold plans? You know, here we have building a global business.
We are considered today, we consider ourselves as a house of warm beverages, and we want to be house of warm beverages, but also the climate is affecting on the consumption side. So we need to think, is it a good strategy to be in the warm beverages or to widen portfolio, to stick with coffee and tea, but also to have different products, and we are doing that. When I told you about the growth, I mean in our categories. We want to be a coffee and tea house, and this is our strategic aim. To grow, you need to have capital, you need to have people, you need to be fast. Today, the fast companies are winning. Okay, big guys are dangerous, they're aggressive. But if you're flexible, if you're agile, you can achieve more. Especially also COVID changed our business as well. Many distributors will step out of the market, or they stepped out of the market after the COVID, especially ones which are related to HoReCa, out-of-home business. We are strong in HoReCa sales segments, but also we have retail, vending, and other sales segments. So to grow in category, but also in sales channels, it's very important. Because coffee as a product, it's simple. If you know how to make the quality coffee, but the complexities in type of machine, in distribution, in all kinds of activities. Franck is not just production company. We are offering solutions to different businesses, different clients, different concepts. So before, just one remark, when my grandfather was running the company, 700 people worked in production. Today, in coffee production, 40 people are working. So automatization, efficiency. But when my grandfather was running the company, 20 people worked in sales division. Now sales division with service maintenance of the machine has 230 people. This is big change.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
How our distribution will look like with Amazons, with all of the platforms in 10 years, I don't know, but probably we will use different models to reach our clients.
Okay, I have another question. When was your first cup of coffee giving?
Honestly, I was not drinking coffee on university. I smoked first cigar when I was 10. when I was 10, and beer, Heineken, I remember that. But with the coffee, I started after the university. Let's say last years of the university. I started enjoying coffee in Franck. How many cups of coffee? When I asked our friend Lavazza, he said me even from 3 to 33.
Whoa.
But I'm not consuming that much, 7, 8 cups of espresso, but good quality espresso.
That's plenty. Okay, thank you very much. I think you were running out of time. Ivan will be around all day. If somebody wants to know how to, take over their father's business without, complaining the father to be happy, so,
Thank you very much, and we will keep you awake for the whole day and tomorrow as well.
Yeah.